So today we're doing a quest on B12. This one's from Liz. Hi, doing right. I've been reading the book Could It Be B12? I would like to know your opinion on B12 injections and you and Freely's experience with them. I've been taking sublingual tablets and now considering doing injections. Would like to know more. Discuss who should do B12 injections. Who should do B12 injections? That's an interesting one. This is a book I keep raving on about. Could It Be B12 by Sally Patchlock and Jeffrey Stewart. Really good book, interesting book to read. I mean, I read this a couple of years ago now, and it's definitely opened my eyes up to a lot more things. A lot of people say that B12 deficiency is just a vegan thing, but if you actually read the book and read the clinical studies, this is not like, some hearsay. This is clinical studies in this book, and it's full of them. So definitely a book I encourage people to read if you want to get up to date with the latest research and studies on vitamin B12, because it's a subject that always comes up. So educate yourself. Could it be B12? This one here talks about a 4-year-old boy diagnosed with autism, and they're using B12 therapy to overcome that. A 35-year-old butcher who started wetting himself and could no longer walk steadily, and an 86-year-old man who became delusional and killed his wife. A 54-year-old woman experiencing paranoid delusions and violent outbursts coupled with symptoms her doctor diagnosed as multiple sclerosis. So it's quite interesting. I've got a friend who was diagnosed with MS, and she got tested for B12. B12 was very low, so she started eating raw animal products. She was eating cooked animal products before, tested low on B12, started eating raw animal products with the intention to raise her B12 serum levels. Never happened. So she started taking supplements. That never happened either. So she resorted to B12 injections, and that raised the levels up. So pills didn't work, animal products didn't work, B12 injections worked. And now she's living a sort of normal life again, She doesn't have the MS like she used to. She's working, doing what she wants to do. So that's a pretty miraculous recovery there. Another example is my housemate in Adelaide currently. He's been a raw foodist for over 10 years now, and he eats raw animal products. And he had a low B12 level when he started the whole gig, and in the last decade he's eaten animal products, raw, organic, wild, grass-fed, all that stuff, raw organic animal products on a weekly basis since 2001, and 2 weeks ago we got his B12 serum level tested, and he's around the 220 range, around the low range. Too low for him. The Japanese cutoff is over 550, and my friend is down in the 220s, the deficiency borderline areas. And he said, Harley, all right, I'm going to get these injections. So we started shooting him up in the alleyway next to the fruit shop, and he's doing fine on them now. So guaranteed his B12 levels are going to go up, and we're going to see his homocysteine levels drop down. So it's interesting to note. So we've got examples of people eating animal products with B12 deficiencies rampant in societies. So when someone says, oh, if you've got B12 levels low, all you need to do is eat some animal products. That's like saying all you need to do to avoid having a car accident is wear a seatbelt. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So you can spend a lot of money getting tests and reoccurring tests, and you can get tested for B12 serum, transcobalamin 2, transcobalamin 3, homocysteine, urinary methylmalonic acid, mean corpuscular volume, homocysteine, you get your folate, you get all these things tested again and again and go in and out, or you can just do a course of B12 injections following the protocol on the packet and go from there and not have to worry about it. Just do it and be done with it. This is one we have in Australia. It's made by a German pharmaceutical company, so it's going to work. There's no like ifs, maybes, could, should. It's definitely, this stuff works. B12 is naturally red, and it comes in little 1,000 microgram. And they say keep it out of the light, which is interesting because they say that, they say keep it out of the light and keep it under 25 Celsius. And then they say cook your animal products to get rid of the bad bacteria and eat animal products with B12. And if you get B12 deficiency, just take these. So it's sort of a quite ironic thing in society. And these are every single pharmacy in Australia, every single one. And we don't even, how many vegans we have in Australia? So, so if you walk into any pharmacy and ask for these, you'll be able to get them. And ask them how many of these you sell a week. Ask the nurses who administer these, how many shots of these did you do a week? It's a lot. Why? Because vitamin B12 deficiency is rampant in society today. The reason why vegans in that shop more, because they get tested more, they get educated and go, whoa, if you walk into a doctor and say, oh, I'm not feeling so good, I want to get tested, they're like, no. If you walk in there and say, I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, I feel great, is there anything I should test for? They go, yeah, we're going to test this, and that. You know what I mean? So it's interesting stuff. The needles you use, I've got a syringe around here. Can you hear that? It's a koala grunting. So these are the syringe you use. We're looking for a 3 ml plunger, and the needle wants to be 25 gauge, that's the fatness, and 25 millimeter, that's the length. So 25 by 25 and a 3 ml, and you just boom. It's intramuscular as well, it's not intravenous. Intramuscular means into the muscle, the deltoid, the quad, the glute. If you're not experienced, get someone to help you do it. You know what I mean? If you experience, boom, pop it in. Me, myself, I do it myself because it saves time and money waiting in doctors' offices with, screaming kids and smoking cough people and on doctors' egos and people who are overworked and all that money time system thing. Doing it yourself, boom. I used to be very phobic of needles, and I've studied how to do it. I asked my nurse friends and doctor friends, give me some advice and things like that. No problems. On YouTube, you can look up how to administer vitamin B12 injections. Very, very simple, safe, and the most 100% effective way of getting your B12 levels jacked right up. Not a problem. So you can get syringes from your pharmacy drugstore. These are about 60 cents, and these are about $10 a box, so $3 per ampule. How often should you do them? Depends on the person, I know if you look on a lot of bodybuilding forums, bodybuilders are doing 1,000 microgram injections daily sometimes. I think that's excessive personally. In the book, Could It Be B12? Their recommendation is 1,000 microgram injection daily for a week, and then once a week for a month. That's the 1,000 microgram injections, and then once monthly as needed. So that's the standard protocol. It might vary, less or a little bit more depending on this person. So, but by following a standard protocol, you're going to have yourself covered. It's a safe thing to use. People go, oh, but there might be risks, Harley. There's risks of everything. I could get bitten by a snake. There's actually brown snakes that live here. They're actually in the top 10 most dangerous snakes in the world. So I could get bitten by one of these eastern brown snakes doing a YouTube video. I'm just looking now because I actually did see one the other day. So there's no eastern brown snakes down here. But yeah, there's risks in everything in life. You could eat a banana and choke on it. You know what I mean? So there's risks involved. There's no mercury in vitamin B12 injections. That was another question someone asked me. Is there mercury in B12 injections? No, there's not. There's acetic acid and sodium chloride. So, it's fine. So basically, do your own homework regarding protocol for injections and protocol regarding frequency. I do them about once a month now, heavy training, things like that, once a month. Another thing is people use vitamin B12 injections for getting lean, cutting up, getting toned. B12 injections are very popular in weight loss clinics. I'm not promoting B12 injections for weight loss, even though that's what a lot of people do. I'm promoting them because I understand that a lot of people come over this lifestyle, as I did with celiac disease, Crohn's disease, a lot of adrenal issues, things like that, that are related to B12 deficiencies or can cause these things. So I'm promoting B12 injections for people who've had health issues in the past and just want to be sure. It's not about becoming a hypochondriac and going, oh my God, what about this? What about that? It's just simple injections, boom, cheap, safe, effective, done. Forget about it. You know what I mean? So people using them for weight loss and muscle building, sure, you do that, but I'm not promoting it for that. So let's just be clear on that one. Even though people using them claiming that they get a lot better fat metabolism using B12 injections, I'm not claiming that, even though it's out there. So yeah, it's very, very simple thing. So what about sublinguals, Harley? You can do sublinguals. Well, sublinguals might work. B12 injections definitely work. So in a world of might or definitely, I'm going definitely. But you can do sublinguals if you want, whatever. You do whatever you want. I'm just giving my opinion and my experience in this video. What was another question we had? So what are the cons? Harley, what's the cons? Well, I'm trying to think what the cons are. For me, the cons were, what's the cons? Maybe a bit of like, sometimes it stings a little bit for maybe 20 seconds. Bit of a sting, just like just like nothing. That's the only con I can think of. It costs money. It's probably cost me $60. I've had probably, 25 injections in the last couple of years. It's probably cost me, 60, 70, $80. So a bit of money there. But I know a lot of people, depending on what country you're listening in, you can spend hundreds of dollars on testing, so that can be outweigh just, spending 30, $50 doing a course of injections and boom, jacking your levels right up there. So cons, I can't really think of any genuine cons. Genuine cons. Pros, well, you definitely take care of any vitamin B12 issues. Guaranteed, take care of those. I actually did some extensive testing over time and realized my body does not produce enough intrinsic factor. And I didn't even know what intrinsic factor was until 2 years ago. It's so you're learning constantly on this path. That's what I love about it. You're always learning something. And I used to be really anti-supplement. I am to a large degree. But if you have a genetic issue, like if you're a type 1 diabetic, you need insulin. If you lack intrinsic factor, you need B12 injections. I'm not going to stand back and say, well, that goes against my beliefs. It's like, no, if you need that, you need that. And in pharmacology today, we have all these wonderful things to use. Sure, we have 99% of it's absolute rubbish, cancerous, toxic, genocide stuff, but we have the little things like B12 injections, or people are born with pancreatic issues, or various things that are very helpful. If you didn't have them, you'd die. So I hope that answers the question. Does animal products raise your B12 levels? Definitely not, because if it did, no meat eater would have B12 deficiency. But we see meat eaters rampant in society. The Framingham study said 40% of their test studies had showed up B12 deficiency or low to borderline levels. My raw housemate animal eaters, B12 deficient. Actually, all of them have been. And I've given five different non-vegan people injections in the last fortnight. 5 meat eaters given B12 injections because they got B12 deficiencies. So anybody can have a B12 issue. Doesn't matter what you eat. If you're a vegan, if you're eating roadkill, whatever. Actually, one of my friends actually does physically eat roadkill. I'm not talking steak and chicken flesh. I'm talking roadkill from the car, highway. He eats that. He's still got low B12. So, you can raise your B12 with B12 injections, or you can think you're raising by eating animal feces, your own feces. I've got people who do that. The B12 is still low. That doesn't work. Eating animals doesn't raise your B12 because, as we've said before, all these things. So sublinguals, though I've been told they might work, but I'm into definitely what works, definitely. So hopefully that answers the questions. I'm into definitely what works. That's why I do injections. Very safe, effective. Do your own homework. Learn more on the subject. Don't just dive right in there, but just, form new beliefs based on your own conclusions. My conclusion is that B12 injections are great. Have I felt any different? I can't physically or mentally say I have, even though I am running and cycling the fastest of my life ever. Yesterday, what's the date today? 8th. Yesterday, the 7th of May, I rode up Corkscrew Road and set a PB. I've been riding that hill for 12 years, and yesterday is my fastest time ever up there, period. So I'm the fittest of my life. I don't know about you, but, I am. So I can't say it's just the B12 injections, and maybe it is, though. Maybe B12's got some sort of steroids, and I don't know. But yeah, but seriously, though, do your own homework, check it out, and read this book. Could it be B12 by Sally Patchlock? Thanks for watching. Any more questions? Sing out.